Hi guys, JD with Airtec Sports here. Going to go over a couple basic safety tips to get you on the trail so you can enjoy the most out of your Airtec rental and get the most out of your weekend. We request that all drivers of our rental equipment be over the age of 18. It's for insurance purposes and for safety purposes. When operating our machines, absolutely no drugs or alcohol. Anything that will impair your judgment can make an ATV a very dangerous machine, and we don't want anyone to get in any accidents or get hurt. When operating an ATV, we request that you keep a single person to a 1-up machine and a maximum of 2 people on a 2-up machine, like this Polaris Sportsman touring model. When riding 2-up, the passenger must be able to touch both the passenger handlebars and the passenger footrests. Both the passenger and the driver should always be wearing a helmet, and when riding 2-up, the machine should never exceed 50 miles an hour. It's tough in Wisconsin to avoid paved surfaces and avoid public roadways because lots of trails are shared with cars. However, when driving on paved surfaces, be mindful that low pressure tires and short wheelbases make these machines very tippy on grippy surfaces. Also, when interacting with cars, automobile drivers sometimes do not see the different light setups and the lack of blinkers on ATVs. It can become a very dangerous situation. Unfortunately, when interacting with a car, you are the smaller vehicle. Again, we don't want anyone to get hurt, and we don't want to have any accidents. Next, we'll go over a little bit of the operation of the vehicle. Alright, so first walking up to the machine, you're first going to want to familiarize yourself with all the safety warnings and safety stickers on the machine. They'll tell you the appropriate rider age, how to operate the machine safely, and where certain safety features are. For example, this machine is a 16 and over machine only. You never use it on a roadway, and you never want to use it under the influence of drugs. Here you have warnings and regulations on tire pressures, and rules for riding 2-up with this particular machine. Next thing you're going to want to do as you come up to the machine is make sure it is in park. In this particular machine and on most of the Polaris machines, the park will be actually built into the transmission. On this one, park is all the way to the rear on the shifter. Familiarizing yourself with the controls is important too. You have your throttle here on your right handlebar. You have a 2-wheel drive switch, a 4-wheel drive switch, and a 4-wheel drive with a hill descent. On these Polaris machines, the 4-wheel drive is actually automatic. If you leave it in 4-wheel drive, the 4-wheel drive kicks in on its own. Here you have your ignition switch, which gives power to the machine. You see the display comes on, and that's how you'll start it. You have your reverse override switch here, and then an emergency kill switch. In any bad situation where the machine needs to be shut off immediately, you can shut that switch off one way or the other, and you can see it cuts off power to the machine. Here you also have your lights. You have a off, a low beam, and a high beam setting. And you have one master brake switch that'll run all 4 brakes on the machine, as well as a foot brake that'll run just the rear brakes. It's important to familiarize yourself with the machine and how those levers feel and how to use them in certain situations. Now, as you approach the machine and get out and ready to ride, you're going to want to make sure you throw a leg over and plant yourself firmly on the machine. And with the machine in park, pull the handbrake on the handlebar and turn the ignition key until it starts. And you're ready to ride. Now that you're on the machine, and hypothetically it's running, we can go through and show you how to use the transmission on these Polaris machines. Again, you're going to start in park. That's the safest way to start the machine. In the transmission of the machine, you have park. Your first switch is going to be reverse. You'll have neutral, a low range, and a high range. Now it's important to use that low and high range correctly. Anytime you're doing under about 15 miles an hour, pulling a heavy load or going up a steep hill, it's important to use that low range so the machine stays in the power where it's supposed to and doesn't wear on any parts excessively. High range is for those high rates of speed, burning down a trail, having a really good time on your machine. I'll put the machine back in park and select the appropriate gear. All you need to do is apply throttle and the machine will take care of everything on its own. There's no shifting, there's no gears to run through. It's pretty simple and straightforward. Now it's important to remember that when you're riding the machines, you keep your weight centered on the machine, you keep a firm grasp on the handlebars so you can access both the brake and the throttle. When going through corners, you need to transfer your weight to the inside of the corner. For example, as I turn left, I transfer my weight to the left. And as I turn right, I transfer my weight to the right. This is to keep all 4 wheels on the ground and keep the machine stable. It's also important to keep track of your speed through the corners so as to not overdrive the machine or overdrive your skill and abilities. Also, when ascending hills, move your weight to the front, and when descending hills, move your weight to the back. That way it keeps the machine stable, safe, and keeps you out of harm's way. Now that we've gone over some basic safety features and controls of the machine, we can get you out on the trail so you can have a good time on the weekend. Remember, always wear a helmet, always have your passenger wear a helmet, and always ride within the ability of your passenger, not necessarily your driver. So, with that, have fun, be safe, and enjoy your weekend.